Hey everyone. So, this is a tutorial for the way I draw faces and heads. The videos that I've uploaded till now show the way I usually do it when I need to get the results I want very quickly, very efficiently. Is to just take the actor's picture and then just get the guidelines on top of their faces and then get that done. But this is a tutorial for the head to be drawn all the way from the ground up. So what I basically do is, and this is a method that was put up by Andrew Loomis, you basically start off by drawing a circle. You draw a straight line right from the middle, divide it from the middle, and then you draw two lines on the side to show the side planes of the face. And then you take the distance between the division that you've made in the middle of the line that you've drawn and the very bottom of the circle and use the same distance from the bottom of the circle to create one more line towards the end that becomes the chin line. And that's how you divide the face. The jaw itself is a very boxy structure. So what you essentially draw is it's kind of like a square, just divided from the sides. It's cut from the sides. So it kind of becomes this triangular structure. But it's not completely triangular uh, in its formation. The line that we drew in the middle of the circle forms the bottom of your eyes. And then the line on top of that is where the eyebrows are, which is essentially what I'm doing right now. And then just figuring my way out around the iris and everything and just getting to see how the folds work. One thing I would definitely advise everyone to learn, whoever is watching this tutorial, is to see how the folds of our eyes work, because it's not a plain structure. Your eyes are circular in shape, so the way your skin wraps around it is the same way any material would wrap around, for example, a sphere. So let's say if you take a piece of cloth and you tie it around a ball, the way the cloth wraps around it is the same way our skin wraps around our eyes. It's the same way our skin forms on top of our nose. It's like taking a pyramid block and putting a piece of cloth on top of that. It takes its shape, which is essentially what our skin does as well. We have different layers of skin, but it's an extremely loose structure that is enveloped on top of our body, which is essentially what the formation of the face is. So what I'm basically doing right now is just figuring a way out to divide those guidelines in the face and then just basically see where the shadows are going to be and everything. This is just the first pass of the face, so I'm not exactly completely uh, getting the proportions just right, but I need to get an idea about the way the face looks. And the moment I start doing a second pass for the thing is when I actually get a better look at the way I want the painting to be, which is essentially what I'm trying to do. So this entire tutorial at the end is going to show you how I draw faces and how I draw masks on top of those faces. And obviously the Flash is one of my favorite heroes. So it seems about right to just draw him and use him as an example. And one thing I would definitely recommend is draw the person's face first and then the cowl on top of that, or the mask on top of that. You do not want to, in any circumstance or instance, draw the face just in regards to the visibility it has with the mask on. You don't want to do that. You, at least, I would recommend you don't. Yes, people do it. Yes, they can get the same results, which is great, but it's a much easier and a much more feasible way to build a face from the ground up and then draw on top of that, which is essentially what I'm doing now. What you see in my other videos is the same process that I'm showing you right now. It's just an extremely compressed version of that because I directly start drawing on top of the pictures. I directly start figuring out the proportions of the mask and everything, which is essentially what I'm trying to do right now as well. But I'm showing you how it's done all the way from the ground up. And I wanted to go for a very comic book style drawing with this whole thing. So what I basically have done is I've exaggerated some things about it and figured out the shadows and everything. So now what I'm doing is I'm figuring out the curve. This is exactly what I was talking about. Once you have a structure for his entire face, you can very easily put the cowl or the mask on top of that. It's easier figuring out the structure of things you put on top of your head after you have an idea of how your head looks, which is essentially what masks are. It's just something, it's an accessory that you're putting on top of your head. It takes the shape of your head. Your head does not take the shape of the mask. So it's much easier figuring out the way the mask looks after said head has been drawn. And you can basically figure out the proportions and everything and how things need to be adjusted and where everything is. I had to draw his ear wings in this and everything. So also one more tip for the ear wings: the top of your ear starts where your iris is. It's like it aligns exactly with the bottom of your eye. So that is one more thing that needs to be taken into account. Again, I'm just cleaning things up right now, just figuring out how things need to be done. What I did in this entire thing was, and one more tip I would definitely recommend you guys follow, is to just flip your canvas every once in a while to see how your proportions are looking. It is extremely important for you to see whether your painting is aligning or not, and the easiest and the quickest way to do that is to just flip the painting and then see how the proportions look, which is essentially what I do with all my paintings as well. Quite early on in the process, to just get an idea of what needs to be fixed and how it needs to be fixed. I'm just trying to add rim lights at the moment. Rim lights are probably the best examples of things you can do to very quickly achieve a very dynamic look for your painting. It's basically just adding a streak of light in the dark area of your painting. It does not necessarily have to be just a stroke or just a line or a streak. It can be a bigger area than that, but it's usually just that. It's a part of your dark area that's lit up with light of whatever your choice is. What I'm basically doing here is I colored the line art that I did for the flash. So instead of using black lines, I went in and I used purple lines. So it gives it a very nice, cool look, which is something I experimented with and found out. It was something I heard about, but yeah. So to just get the lights done, all I've done is just airbrushed the colors in and then used some color dodge and added the shadows in, add the highlights and the details, and we're done. It's as simple as this. Drawing a face, a comic book style head, a mask is no more than 8 minutes of time-lapse work. That's all it is. And yes, even if it's this simple, you will have to keep practicing, which is one thing I would definitely recommend. Just because the process is simple does not mean the painting itself is going to be. Keep practicing, keep working, and I'll see you guys later.